1,000 miles, hundreds of gear choices, and only 5 things I'd buy again without thinking twice. I've tested gear over 100 backpacking trips. Budget setups, ultralight trends, cult favorites. Most people chase the perfect kit, but stuff that lasts, it's quiet, relatable, and often overlooked. Out of everything I've used, just 5 pieces always make it back into my pack, some since day 1. The Sawyer Squeeze water filter was one of the first pieces of gear I ever bought. This filter has been with me on every trip since. It weighs just 3 ounces and filters down to 0.1 microns, which removes just about everything except viruses, which usually aren't an issue in most North American backcountry water sources. I've used it in murky ponds, cattle troughs, alpine lakes, and cold mountain runoff, and it's never failed me once. You can screw it directly onto any standard water bottle, smart water, soda bottles, whatever you've got, which makes it easy to use and even easier to back flush. Just fill a bottle with some clean water, squeeze it in reverse, and the flow comes right back. That's a big reason I still trust it. It's rated for up to 100,000 gallons if you maintain it, and cleaning it on the trail takes maybe 30 seconds. No batteries, no fragile components, just a filter that quietly works. I've used it squeeze style, inline, and my favorite method is to hang it as a gravity setup so it can filter water while I'm setting up camp. This can be done with any kind of water reservoir like Sawyer's 1 or 2 gallon bags or a Ceenoc Vecto. Now, it's not the fastest filter out there, but it's consistent, and to me, that matters more. My runner-up would probably be the Katadyn B Free, and the flow rate is noticeably smoother, but you can't really back flush it, and it only works with specific wide mouth bottles. So if you're using regular bottles like a Smart Water, it won't fit, and that ended up being a bit too limiting for how I actually hike. The Sawyer is simple, adaptable, and has totally earned a permanent place in my pack years later. There's a lot of cook systems out there, but this is the one pot I've kept using trip after trip. The Toaks 750 milliliter titanium mug is my pot of choice. It's my stove pot, my mug, my bowl, everything in one. It holds about 3 cups of water, which is perfect for boiling water, making dehydrated meals, and even cooking stuff like ramen or oatmeal right in the pot. It weighs just 3.6 ounces and the lid has vent holes so the steam can escape without making a mess. I actually started with the 550 milliliter version of this same pot. It's lighter, and if you're going full minimal, it's also a solid choice, but I ended up buying the 750 later because I basically wanted to drink bigger cups of coffee in the morning. So yeah, I like this pot enough to buy it again, just a bigger size. What I also like about the 750 milliliter size is that it can fit my fuel canister, a foil windscreen, my stove, a Bic Mini, and even this homemade funnel that I cut from a Smart Water bottle that I use to pour protein powder into my bottles. They all fit perfectly and gives me one dedicated bag for my entire cook system. Some folks carry separate mugs or larger pots, but for me, one setup that handles meals, coffee, and boiling water without taking extra room is exactly what I want. And I definitely recommend the Toaks Titanium Mug if you're looking for a one-piece cook system. So once you've got a pot that does everything, you need a stove that won't let you down when you're cold, hungry, or just ready to eat. My first stove was actually the popular BRS ultralight canister stove. Super cheap, super light, but mine failed right out of the gate. First time I hooked it up, it sprayed gas everywhere and I couldn't get it to seal. Could have just been a fluke, but it didn't leave a great first impression with me. And that's when I picked up the MSR Pocket Rocket 2, and I haven't looked back. It's a little heavier than something like the BRS at 2.6 ounces, but the build quality is on a different level. Solid, stable, and it just works. I've never had an issue in over 5 years of use. Now, on some trips, I do like to use an alcohol stove, especially when I'm going full ultralight and I want the simplicity, but honestly, nothing beats the powerful, reliable roar of the Pocket Rocket on a cold morning. It's fast, dependable, and I know I can get 2 cups of water to a rolling boil in under 2 minutes. I've used it it out on gusty ridgelines, in near freezing temps, and even in the pouring rain, and it's never once let me down. It also simmers better than some ultralight stoves, which means I can actually cook food instead of just boiling water. It tucks right into my pot with everything else, and I never have to second guess it. This one's part of my permanent cook system. And by the way, all the gear I mentioned is linked below. If you end up grabbing anything through those links, it helps support the channel and lets me keep testing this gear out. Really appreciate it. Once the sun's gone down, the last thing you want is a headlamp that's heavy, dim, or chewing through batteries. The Nitecore NU25 has been the perfect middle ground. Bright enough for night hiking, light enough to forget it's there, and no AAA batteries to deal with. So I have the original version, which is 360 lumens and just under 2 ounces with the stock headband. The newer model bumps it up to 400 lumens at the same weight, and if you go with the ultralight shock cord style headband, it drops the weight to 1.6 ounces total. It's USB rechargeable, so I just top it off from my battery bank in the morning if I'm on a longer trip, but usually it lasts me 2 to 3 nights on a single charge. I'll keep a short USB cable tucked in the same ditty bag that I keep the headlamp in, and it's always ready to go. Doesn't need any extra batteries, so no added weight. The light angle is adjustable, which is super helpful for various camp chores. It's got a red light, which is perfect for evenings at camp or checking gear at night without nuking your night vision. And the red light also has a blinking mode, which can be used for signaling in a pinch. The primary beam has 3 brightness levels, and honestly, I rarely use the highest one. For me, the medium setting handles most of my tasks just fine, whether I'm setting up camp, cooking dinner, or digging through my pack after dark. It's one of those pieces of gear that's so small and light that it disappears in my pack until I need it. And then it makes me super glad I packed it. So this one might not look like much, but it's easily one of the best cold weather pieces of gear that I carry. The -33 fingerless Merino gloves strike a perfect balance between warmth and dexterity. I can set up camp, cook, adjust gear, or use my phone without needing to take my gloves off every 5 minutes. And for me, that's one of the biggest annoyances with full gloves, is that I'm constantly pulling them off and on every time I need to do something that involves my fingers. Fingerless gloves crucially cover your knuckles, which is usually the first part of my hands to get cold, and they leave the fingers free to work. And since they're made from merino wool, they keep my hands warm even when they're wet, which makes a big difference in shoulder season or damp conditions. In my experience, as long as I'm up and moving, I'm usually fine wearing these gloves down to about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And since I normally do bring a full set of gloves on most trips anyways, I can double up the fingerless and the full gloves for extra insulation when it gets really cold. The -33 gloves were originally given to me as a gift by a family member, and the quality is top notch. I've had zero fraying over 50 trips, and they still come in my pack on every trip. And this is one of those gear items that if I ever lost them, I'd purchase them again in a heartbeat. And honestly, that's what all 5 of these pieces have in common. They're not flashy or trending, but they just work. I've bought other gear that look good on paper, but these are the ones I keep coming back to. And if you want to see the gear I didn't keep, stuff that sounded great but didn't hold up, that next video walks through all of it. So hope this gives you some ideas for your own setup. Thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.